Hi, Nikaila, about the vibrato video that you shared, the teaching that you found online. I think there are some misleading parts in the video, so I just want to caution you to follow this to the T. I wrote a long comment in Facebook, and then my browser, I don't know, shut down, or Facebook shut down or something, so I lost it. So I don't want to retype all of that, so I just thought I'd make a brief video, okay? So first of all, the general approach is of course right. So the change of pitch comes from this knuckle like collapsing and standing up again. That makes the pitch like lower and higher. So that's correct. There are different ways how to make that knuckle move, and one of them is, as demonstrated, you move the hand, the whole arm, not just the hand, the whole thing, back and forth. And because you put this down and then the distance changes, okay, there's no other way of then this knuckle gives, like that's where the leeway is, right? Also the direction, the movement of the direction should be perhaps in the direction of the where this part of the finger points to. It's not completely necessary, because if you do like some more sideways movement, then there will be some component of that also moves here. But that's not so important. So what I find a little bit critical is this idea of moving like with so much like excessive exactness, like this is like gives a very angular vibrato, and maybe we want to aim for something more round and sweet in some sense. So one idea that my teacher gives me is to move quickly in one direction and then come up slowly in the other, like this. And you can also do it the other way around. That is also in line with the idea that the vibrato is not really a back and forth movement, but it moves in one direction and then the other direction is more reactive. Of course, the difference in speeds will not be so extreme in the final product, but it will make a difference if you practice this reactivity into the movement, right? So then there is a demonstration, and I just noticed that the demonstration in the video has completely different source for the movement of this finger. It's not in her demonstration. She doesn't move like that, just faster, but she moves like. So she actually does a wrist vibrato, and of course this elongation and collapsing and then coming up again of the wrist can be also reached if you like let the wrist fall backwards and then come forward again, right? So that's just another source or another lever how you can get this knuckle movement. So that would be like wrist vibrato. But notice that to make the finger flat, the wrist has to fall back like this, right? And then it has to come up to the straight normal position again. And what this teacher then demonstrates in her explanation, I mean, first of all, she doesn't do what she advocated before, like she just switches from arm to wrist vibrato, but then also the explanation of the wrist movement is wrong, because she says like we should be willing, in contrast to what we are taught about good hand position, to move the wrist in this way, like move it out. And this is not an effective way to to flatten the finger, this is more effective, right? The wrist needs to move much less. And this is also like it's just a recipe for disaster, because what will happen if one is not extremely careful, like it will just lead to this kind of movement. The wrist will bend in and out, but nothing will happen, or not much will happen here with this knuckle, right? So this is completely like unphysiological to approach it that way. So I think you can take her initial instruction, maybe modify it to make it a little bit back and forth and more like reactive, like one impulse and then coming back. That would, I think, give a nicer end product. Or you might consider to use the wrist and let the wrist fall backwards in this so-called giving or begging position, not like this. So that should never be like part of your playing. I mean, perhaps in very extreme situations where you have to do some crazy extensions and double stops or whatever, but not for vibrato. Okay? Good. Yeah, those are some ideas. Take care, and we all need the best wishes of everyone, so I'm giving them to you also for this vibrato journey.